Can we talk? Those three little words can open the door to understanding, or, if said in the wrong moment or in the wrong tone, can make someone instantly defensive. But at its heart, can we talk is an invitation to communicate, to listen, and to resolve what's standing between us. Let's talk about something we all experience: conflict. Whether in the workplace, classroom, or at home, conflict is inevitable when people work and live together. But conflict doesn't have to be negative. When handled well, it can actually strengthen relationships, spark creativity, and improve understanding. In this session, we will explore how to turn conflict into connection by understanding the sources and types of conflict, different negotiating styles, positive communication techniques, and the power of body language. Conflict arises when there's a difference in needs, values, or perceptions. But conflict itself isn't the problem. It's how we handle it that makes the difference. When conflict is handled poorly, it leads to resentment, stress, and division. If left unmanaged, it can damage morale and productivity. When conflict is handled well, it builds trust, strengthens teams, and encourages creativity. Let's look at what causes conflict in the first place. Common sources include communication breakdowns. These can be simple misunderstandings, unclear directions, or assumptions. Differences in values or beliefs, such as generational, cultural, or moral perspectives. Competition for resources, such as limited supplies, time, money, or recognition. Unclear roles or expectations, when people don't know who is responsible for what. Personality clashes, different temperaments or work styles. Think of a time when you were frustrated because someone didn't listen to what you had to say, or your message wasn't understood. The problem probably wasn't that you disagreed. It was that there was a breakdown in communication, one of the most common sources of conflict. Here's another example. Two teachers share one sensory table. Ms. Rivera wants to use it for a pumpkin activity, but Mr. Lee already set it up with rice for math. Both feel their planning isn't being respected. This is a classic example of competition for limited resources. Now that we know the causes, let's explore what kinds of conflict we might encounter. When we face conflict, we each have a natural way of responding, our negotiating style. According to the Thomas Kilmann model, there are 5 common styles. Avoiding, ignoring the conflict, hoping it will resolve itself. Like, let's just not talk about it. This might work for small issues, but can cause bigger ones if overused. Accommodating, letting the other person have their way to maintain harmony. Whatever you want's fine. This keeps the peace, but it may sacrifice your own needs. Competing, pursuing your own interest at others' expense. It's my way or the highway. This gets fast results, but it risks relationships. Compromising, each side gives up something. Let's meet in the middle. This is balanced, but both sides give something up. And collaborating, working together to find a mutual solution. Let's find a win-win. This takes time, but builds the strongest outcomes. Pause and think about which of these styles you find yourself using most often, and how has this style affected your relationships? Is there a style you would like to use more? There are several ways to categorize conflict. but here are four main types. Intrapersonal. This is conflict within yourself, like feeling torn between two choices. Interpersonal. This is between individuals, colleagues, friends, family. Intragroup is within a team or department. For example, differing ideas on how to reach a goal. An intergroup is between teams or organizations. It's often about competition or priorities. The more clearly you can identify the type of conflict, the easier it is to select the right strategy to resolve it. When addressing workplace conflicts, it's important to review your organization's policies to ensure you're following the proper procedures. Most policies outline a clear chain of command for reporting concerns, while the most effective ones also encourage colleagues to resolve issues collaboratively before involving a supervisor. Think of it this way. You spend a lot of time teaching children to use their words, ask for a turn, or express their feelings to one another. So why skip those same steps when you face conflict with a coworker? It is this kind of open, positive, professional communication that we will explore next. So how do we talk through conflict without making it worse? We start by communicating. Effective communication depends on mutual participation. It's not just about expressing your message, but also about hearing and valuing the other person's perspective. For positive communication, there is only one speaker at a time. Nothing will be heard if you talk or shout over each other. The speaker has the floor. If needed, have the speaker hold an object like a marker or a stuffed animal to designate that it is their turn to speak. Share the floor. Take turns listening. If needed, set a timer to change roles between speaking and listening. When you are the speaker, speak for yourself. Use I statements that focus on how you feel, not what they did. For example, I feel overwhelmed when I'm left to clean up alone. Be clear and specific. Say exactly what you mean, avoiding vague language. For example, instead of, "You're not helping," say, "I need your help setting up the art area before the children arrive." Stay calm and respectful. Keep your tone even and body language open. Avoid sarcasm or raised voices. These shut down listening. Stick to one issue at a time. Focus on the current situation instead of bringing up past frustrations. And invite a response. End with an opening. Can you share how you see it? This encourages dialogue. When you are the listener, listen to understand, not to defend. Concentrate on what the other person is saying, not what you want to say next. Show you're listening. Use eye contact, nods, and small verbal cues, such as, "I see, go on." Avoid crossing your arms, checking your phone, or looking away. Don't interrupt. Wait for the speaker to finish before responding. If you're unsure, ask, "Is it okay if I respond now?" Reflect back what you heard. Paraphrase to confirm understanding. For example, "It sounds like you felt frustrated when I left the room early. Is that right?" And acknowledge feelings. You don't have to agree, but you can validate emotions, such as, "I can tell this was really stressful for you." Respond calmly and respectfully. Use a soft tone. Keep your body language open and non-defensive. Together, both the speaker and listener share responsibility for a respectful exchange. The goal isn't to win, it is to understand and move forward. Even during disagreement, kindness and curiosity keep the door open. Positive communication creates psychological safety. People feel heard and resolution becomes possible. Imagine an egg dropped into hot water. The heat doesn't destroy it, but it does change it. Similarly, argumentative or harsh statements are like hot water in communication. They may not break a person, but they can harden attitudes, shut down openness, and make collaboration more difficult. When conflict heats up, are you adding hot water or are you helping things cool down? Hot water phrases may be, you always, you never, or that's not my job. Think about what you could say instead to lower the temperature. Some examples may be, can we talk about how to handle this next time? Or, I see we both want what's best for the children. Just like an egg, people respond differently under heat. Some harden, some crack, but everyone is affected. The goal is to keep things open and real without letting the heat of the moment boil over and harm the connection. Using I statements when speaking may be difficult at first. It's much easier to blame or create excuses than share your own feelings. To help you express yourself clearly, respectfully, and without blame, you can use the XYZ conflict formula. It focuses on feelings, specific behavior, and impact, which encourages understanding instead of defensiveness. The formula goes like this: I feel X when you Y because Z. Here's an example of how this looks. After art time, Ms. Lee notices that her co-teacher, Mr. Sam, often leaves the art materials out instead of helping children clean up. When Ms. Lee brings it up, Mr. Sam says, the kids should be responsible. I'm letting them learn independence. Ms. Lee feels frustrated because it takes her extra time to get the area ready for the next activity, and she feels unsupported. It would be easy for Ms. Lee to say something like, you always leave a mess for me. But instead, she could use the XYZ formula to say something like, I feel frustrated when the art area is left messy because I have to spend extra time cleaning instead of getting ready for the next activity. She has shared her feelings, X, which is frustrated. She shared her specific behavior, Y, the art area is left messy. And she has shared her impact, Z, it takes extra time cleaning instead of getting ready for the next activity. She could follow up this statement with a request for collaboration, such as, can we figure out a cleanup routine that works for both of us and supports the children's independence too? Sometimes it's not what we say, it's how we say it. Nonverbal cues often speak louder than words. Some key things to remember is eye contact. You will want to maintain steady but not intimidating eye contact. It shows respect and engagement. You want to avoid staring or rolling your eyes. Think about your posture. Be open and relaxed. Avoid crossing your arms or turning away. Pay attention to your facial expressions. You want to keep them calm, neutral, or empathetic, not dismissive. Listen to your tone of voice. You want a warm, steady, and even-paced tone to invite cooperation. And be respectful of personal space. You want to respect boundaries and give people breathing room. Remember, your body language can either escalate tension or create safety. Aim to project calm, confidence, and openness. Nonverbal communication, gestures, eye contact, facial expressions, tone, and personal space can mean very different things across cultures. When we rely only on our own cultural norms to interpret body language, we risk misunderstanding or offending others, even when our intentions are positive. For example, in some cultures, direct eye contact shows confidence and respect. In others, it can be seen as disrespectful, especially towards elders or authority figures. And what sounds friendly in one culture may seem too direct or too casual in another. Some tips for culturally aware communication include: be observant and curious, not judgmental. Notice how others communicate and adjust respectfully. Ask when unsure. A gentle question such as, "How do you prefer to communicate about things like this?" shows respect. Model flexibility. Demonstrate that understanding each other's styles is part of professional growth. Acknowledge differences openly, saying, "I know we may communicate differently. I'd like to learn what works best for you," as this builds trust. Effective communication isn't just about words. It's about awareness. Respecting cultural differences in body language and tone helps prevent misunderstandings and strengthens relationships. Let's bring this together. When conflict arises, identify the source and type of conflict. Choose the best negotiating style for the situation. Communicate positively and listen actively. Pay attention to body language, both yours and theirs. When these steps are combined, conflict transforms from a roadblock into an opportunity for understanding and growth. Let's take a look at this scenario. Two preschool teachers, Ms. Taylor and Mr. Jordan, share a classroom space in an early learning center. The center's daily schedule includes designated outdoor playtime, but due to limited playground space, classrooms must take turns. Recently, Ms. Taylor has been taking her class out 10 minutes earlier than scheduled, saying she needs a few extra minutes because her group takes longer to get coats and shoes on. Mr. Jordan feels frustrated. His class loses time outside, and transitions become chaotic when both groups overlap on the playground. One morning, Miss Taylor's group heads outside early again. Mr. Jordan sighs loudly and says, "This happens every day. It's not fair to my class." Miss Taylor, feeling defensive, replies, "I'm just trying to keep things smooth for the children. You know how long it takes for them to get ready." The tension is noticeable. Both teachers stop speaking to each other for the rest of the morning. Identify the type of conflict. Is this interpersonal, intragroup, intergroup, or intrapersonal conflict? This is an interpersonal conflict between colleagues. Identify the source of the conflict. Is this a communication breakdown, unclear expectations of scheduling, differences in work styles, competition for resources such as time and space? The source is a combination of unclear expectations and competition for time and space. Choose a negotiating style. Which style would be most effective in resolving this conflict? The ideal approach would be collaborating. Both teachers meet to discuss how to adjust transitions fairly and efficiently. Take a moment to think about a recent conflict you've experienced, maybe at work or at home. What caused it? What style did you use? What might you try differently after this session? When someone says, "Can we talk?" it doesn't have to mean trouble. It can mean trust. It can mean we value the relationship enough to work through the hard parts. Conflict is natural, communication is powerful, and listening to body language can change outcomes. The goal isn't to avoid conflict, it's to handle it with respect, understanding, and care.